A few moments later, the Bug King struck again, unleashing a devastating blast that headed straight for their position. With a simple, fluid motion, the Chief of Staff swung his arm and released a rapid succession of energy blades that intercepted the incoming attack, shattering it completely. The residual force radiated outward and slammed into the surrounding monsters, triggering a chain of violent explosions. In that frantic moment, Instructor Lim was startled as three figures suddenly materialized behind him. One of them was his older brother, who immediately commanded them to hold the line and ensure the swarm did not interfere with the Chief of Staff. The trio moved into formation and launched a synchronized assault on the monsters in front of them before shifting their focus to target the Bug King directly. The sheer power of their combined strike forced a pained howl from the Bug King as it hovered in the air. Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff began gathering a surging purple energy between his hands. As Song Rui watched this, he could not help but worry whether his father's body could still endure the strain of such high-level combat. At the same time, the protagonist stared in awe, realizing just how terrifyingly potent a legendary special-type ability could be. Once the energy reached its peak, the Chief of Staff released it, sending a massive wave of shimmering purple power that enveloped the Bug King and effectively locked it in a restrictive confinement. Officer Lin quickly stepped forward, his face etched with concern regarding the Chief of Staff's pre-existing injuries. The Chief of Staff remained calm and replied that he was fine, explaining that he could maintain the containment for no more than an hour, which would be just enough time for the main forces to arrive. Before long, a helicopter suddenly descended near their location, leading some to wonder if the expected reinforcements had finally arrived. Mr. Hong Jungyan stepped out of the aircraft accompanied by two female operatives and the protagonist's sister, who was draped in a black cloak. As he approached, Mr. Hong Jungyan introduced himself and thanked everyone for their efforts in weakening the Bug King before coldly informing them that they were now free to leave. Recognizing him immediately, Officer Lin confirmed his identity as Mr. Hong. To be certain, the Chief of Staff asked if he truly was Mr. Hong and demanded clarification on his statement. Mr. Hong Jungyan replied simply but with a chilling tone, revealing that he was the mastermind behind the entire situation. He explained that he had lured the Bug King across the border and allowed the two sides to exhaust each other just so he could easily take control of the creature and force it to lay eggs for his own purposes. Hearing this, Jin Ying shouted and asked if he had lost his mind. She argued that allowing the Bug King to spawn would result in an absolute catastrophe and questioned what he could possibly gain from such a reckless plan. Mr. Hong Jungyan let out a short laugh and remarked that if the outcome resulted in medicine capable of halting the red fog spread, then a few small sacrifices were irrelevant. He added that this technology would allow them to create an army of superpower soldiers, making it unnecessary to worry about the other members of the board of directors. He intended to give them just enough power to see the plan through, noting that if those old conservatives weren't so hesitant, his current strategy would have been even more perfect. After that, Mr. Hong Jungyan pulled back Xiao Shui's hood and coldly announced that the talking was over because it was time for the true lead to take the stage. In that instant, the protagonist immediately recognized the girl standing before him as his own sister, Xiao Shui. He called out her name without hesitation, but there was no response. She remained still with her eyes closed, seemingly unconscious and oblivious to her surroundings. This sight caused the protagonist to erupt in fury, screaming at Mr. Hong Jungyan to demand what he had done to his sister. Mr. Hong Jungyan wasted no time and immediately used his mental control abilities to bend Xiao Shui to his will. At the same moment, the Bug King continued to thrash violently inside its barrier, desperate to break free from its confinement. Unable to restrain himself any longer, the protagonist charged forward to reach his sister, but he was blocked by one of Mr. Hong Jungyan's female operatives. Simultaneously, another follower used her powers to levitate Xiao Shui and force her into the barrier where the Bug King was held. As Xiao Shui entered the enclosure, she gradually drew closer to the monster's head. After a moment, her eyes moved and her motions began to sync perfectly with the beast, as if a deep connection had been forged between them. Xiao Shui slowly raised her hand as if giving a command, and the Bug King instantly unleashed a series of powerful attacks to shatter the barrier. Along with its thunderous roar, every aberration in the area began to move at once, responding to their leader's call. Mr. Hong Jungyan boastfully invited everyone to witness the moment the queen finally broke free from her chains. The Bug King continued its relentless assault on the barrier, prompting Song Rui to shout that his father's confinement would not hold much longer under such pressure. The protagonist immediately proposed to the chief of staff that they create a small opening so he could get inside, insisting that he was the only one who could wake his sister. Song Rui grabbed him at once, angrily asking if he had lost his mind since entering would surely mean his death. Jin Ying also tried to hold him back, shouting for him to calm down, but the protagonist would not be swayed. He broke free from their grip and firmly stated that the girl inside was his younger sister and that he was the only person capable of reaching her. With fierce determination, he demanded to be let in. He looked at the chief of staff with absolute seriousness, and after a brief pause, the chief ordered everyone to provide full cover for the protagonist because he was going to open a 3-second passage at the rear of the barrier. At that command, everyone moved at once to attack the woman blocking the path. Meanwhile, the protagonist sprinted forward and headed straight for the opening. The chief of staff shouted that this was the chance, and within seconds, the protagonist successfully made it inside the barrier. Deep worry was etched on Song Rui's face as he watched the protagonist enter. Inside the barrier, suspended in the air, the protagonist stared intently at Xiao Shui, who was being used by Mr. Hong Zhengyan to manipulate the Bug King. He called out her name over and over, desperately reaching for his sister in hopes of waking her from the dark control.
The chapter ends here. Watch out for our upcoming uploads. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll always be updated on our future videos.